welcome back once again to Vicious Rips. And of course, I'm your host, you YouTube, sign off an imitator. Never duplicate Suicide Maxxine. To go over Raw this week was in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, folks, these kind of episodes are always really hard to do, but do have to go through it anyway. This past week sucked, man, no lie. Because lost a lot of good people in a short amount of time. Wednesday, news broke of Terry Funk passing away, which shook everyone. And, you know, by God, the word legend gets thrown around very loosely about a lot of people. But Terry Funk is, without a doubt, one of a handful of guys that you can use the term legend on and it actually means something. And he was one of the greatest, without a doubt. And I'm not even gonna lie, I may have seen stuff that he did before I got into ECW, you know, either from magazines or old videos or whatever, but I didn't really look and see, whoa, Terry Funk, wow, until he was in ECW, and you can't convince me otherwise. If it wasn't for Terry Funk, ECW easy for me to say, would not have jumped out as far as it did as a platform without him. Not to say anything against the other guys that worked there, but Terry Funk, man, he was one of those old timers that didn't work like one of the other old timers from that era in that time. Instead of just being like, no, I'm a top guy, I'm not gonna put him over. No. In fact, Terry Funk was the exact opposite. It was, oh, you see, oh, I can put him, let me work with him. Oh, I'd love to work with him. Oh, let me do something with him, please. Yeah. And then Thursday, news broke that Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, passed away. And that hit everyone to the fucking core. And man, it sucks. There's no other way to put it. It sucks. And it's, yeah. Other than that, aside from that, like I said, just lost a lot of good people. The original voice actress for Harley Quinn from the 1990s Batman animated series passed away also. As well as Bob Barker from The Price is Right. And in my own weird kind of screwed up way, the first thing after I heard it and the shock wore off was Bob Barker died at 99. He outlived Betty White and the Queen. So Bob Barker lived the gimmick by being the closest without going over. Yeah. Pretty sure if I wasn't going to be damned for hell already, that one probably would have already send me there. But in regards to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt, they're both going to be sorely missed. And you know, all I can say is I hope their God welcomes them into their heaven. That's it. That's it, plain and simple. So, not doing a SmackDown rewind this week because honestly, last week's SmackDown was more of a tribute show to them, and there was like maybe 2 or 3 matches that happened. The rest was showing highlights and such, and the matches felt more like an afterthought. Like, okay, well, it's a wrestling show. We need to have wrestling, so we got to have someone out there put on the tights and work. So, yeah, not even gonna. But, so with that said, let's get, gonna try to anyway as best as I can. I'm gonna try and get back in it and move forward. So with that said, let's get into this week's show, Raw, Memphis. It starts off with a match right out the gate. No opening promos, no segues, no nothing. Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, one-on-one. Here we go. Really good, nice back and forth with Priest leading into the break. Sami started to build up a bit of a comeback post-break. It was a good match, good solid opener. It came to an end when Sami hit the exploder in the corner, went to the other corner, was pumping up to go and do the haluva kick. Next thing you know, JD McDonough, the human fucking Funko Pop, came out of nowhere, distracted Sami, which gave Priest enough time to go and do the South Side of Heaven choke slam, and then he winds up going, taking a shot at JD, also, pretty much telling him, stay out of my business, and then JD's like, what? Turns around, Kevin Owens and Sami are there, and then Owens pops a stun, or Sami hits a haluva kick and then throws him into KO and then gets a stunner. So yeah. And next thing, so they did also announce that we're going to have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defending their tag titles against Finn Balor and Damian Priest at Payback this coming Saturday. So, again, it's a can they coexist because of the constant infighting. So, yeah. Fingers crossed they could still work together. Next matchup, we got the New Day going against the Viking Raiders. And decent match. Woods, he was the punching bag at the start. Kofi wound up getting a hot tag in and then started leading into the break. Then post-break, Kofi wound up being the punching bag. And then Woods got the hot tag in. And yeah, I gotta tell you, it was pretty decent. It was a decent match. Now, McIntyre and Riddle were out there as a tag team, scouting the competition, and yeah. At one point, Ivar, he had Woods up like this, and then threw him at McIntyre, and then McIntyre just all sorts of man picked up his office chair and threw it. Ivar got out the way, and then boom, Woods got hit with a chair like you'd have thought he was on Jerry Springer. He's down, and I mean down, like if it was a boxing match, ref would have said, ring the bell. But Kofi was in there. Next thing you know, Kofi got hit with the Ragnarok for the finish. 1, 2, 3, so yeah. So, next up, we got Ludwig Keiser going against the one and only Master Gable himself, Chad Gable. Now, there was a bit of a promo before the match. Gunther wound up saying that next week on Raw, he is defending his Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against one Chad Gable. And, well, if he beats Gable, then he cements himself. He cements his legacy as being the longest reigning Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And honestly, I'm all for it. I'm cool with it. Because, here's the thing. And this is what I got to say about that. Let me say this about that. As far as, record reigns. There are some record title reigns. Well, let me make sure I say this the right way. I think all records need to be broken at some point in time. You know? That's it, plain and simple. While the Honky Tonk Man, he had his moment in the sun as the longest Intercontinental Champion. Now I think it's time. It's been almost over about 30, almost 40 something years now. It's about time we can have somebody else have that new title reign, have that new record. And then in another 30, 40 years, let somebody else break it again. You know? I'm just, that's me. You know? But either way. Gable came out, then said, after Gunther wound up speaking his piece, saying on how Gable, while he may have won, it was only through a countout, and he is still champion. However, because you put that blemish on his record, now all you have done is pissed him off. And you know, I thought Gunther was scary before, but the idea of Gunther being pissed off is a lot more scarier. And yeah, Gable came out very confident, very proud of himself, talking about on how next week he is going to beat Gunther and become the new Intercontinental Champion. Oh, thank you. So, as far as Keiser versus Gable, man, these two guys put on a fucking, well, I wouldn't say classic, but it was a fucking beautiful, beautiful match. I loved it. Guys, seriously, come on. This is what listen, my one producer, Wade, yes, you, I'm calling you, I'm throwing you under the bus for this one. He signed on these non-union guys to handle our lighting for the show, so this is what we get. This is what we pay for. Stick with union folks, people. Trust me, you get what you pay for. But either way, these guys put on, hands down, probably the best match on the show. It was really good mat work, really good ring work, just in general. It was good. Excuse me, Gable, he was leading into the break. You know, really good solid work by both guys. Keiser, he was leading post-commercial break. And I gotta tell you, probably and small little thing, but it wowed me to no end. When Gable, he had an ankle lock in. Keiser, you could see him rolling to get out of it. And Gable actually rolled and spun around with him to reverse the reversal. And I'm just saw that and I'm like, holy shit. How come we don't see stuff like that more often? That would be really fucking cool. And then I started to think again, why the hell does anytime somebody do an ankle lock, do they not scissor the fucking leg? Just, if you scissor the leg, you're putting your body weight down. It would make more sense. That's all I'm saying. But either way, the match continued, and just the match continued. It went on for a bit, and then as it came to an end, Gable, he was going for the Chaos Theory, that deadlift German he does, and he popped it, hit it on Keiser. Ref was counting 1, 2, and then Giovanni Vinci came in and broke up the pin. So ended in the disqualification. Then Otis, who was out there, stepped in. Then Keiser, Vinci, Otis, Gable were going at it. And then the big man himself, Gunther, stepped in. And then that was all she wrote. Alpha Academy was left in shambles. And Imperium was left standing. Now, as far as the match between Gunther and Gable, I would say the smart money is on Gunther, but there's still something sticking in my head, that small little glimmer of what if. So next up we got Tommaso Ciampa going against Big Bad Bronson Reed, and Reed, he attacked Ciampa on his way down to the ring, and the match went on. Reed was pretty much leading for a good majority of the match. I would say like a good 98% of the match. Ciampa got his licks in. He got his fair share of shots. Guys, come on. Again, use union labor. Cannot stress that enough. Ciampa wound up getting his fair share of licks in. Match was decent and it was good. The ending, though, it was... And I'm not quite sure on if you should put fault on anyone or what, but Ciampa wound up doing a crucifix pin, and somehow he got out under Reed's shoulders and then had to slide himself over to where his leg was barely draping over him like that, and it kind of looked like a really shoddy, kind of awkward pin. But, you know, I don't know. But, yeah. So now we come to main event of the night. The MILF, I mean man, Becky Lynch, going against the one and only Pitbull, Zoey Stark. With Trish Stratus accompanying her. And really good action at the start, you know. They both were going at each other with the Singapore canes. And probably the biggest thing that happened during it was at one point Trish, she went under the ring to go get chairs, grabbed one, went to throw it in the ring for Zoe, and as Zoey turned around, the chair, boom, popped her right in the face, and she just stood there and like, it was like for maybe 1 or 2 seconds, but it felt like an eternity when that first happened. Like, wait, what? And then Zoe's just like, what's going on? What? Like it didn't even happen. And I just thought that right there, that is fucking awesome. Because she just took it and was like, boom. Wait, what's going on? Did you just throw a chair at me? Huh? I just thought that was great on how she handled it. You know, real professional on that part. But really decent action with Zoey Stark leading into the commercial break. Becky starting to pick up the pace and leading some in post. Good match. I thought it was a good way to help lead into the cage match between Becky and Trish this Saturday. And the match came to an end. They were fighting through the crowd. They were on top of some soundstage equipment. And then Zoey and Trish had Becky lined up. Zoey went to go wind up and take a shot. Becky moved out the way. And boom! Clocked Trish, knocked her down. And just like, oh my god, Trish! Oh! Turns around, next thing you know, Becky, she throws a few slugs at her. And then hits a manhandle slam onto Zoey off of the soundstage booths. And then goes for a pin, 1, 2, 3. And then you see Becky sitting on the booth, taking off her Bray Wyatt memorial armband, holding it up, saying it's for him. And then you could see she got real emotional. And I'm not going to, listen, I'm never going to pass judgment on that, on any of that kind of stuff. You know, Randy Savage said it best. Real macho men can cry. And Becky is the man, ergo, she can. And you know, not only that, I'm more than comfortable and man enough to admit, I cried like a baby when I heard about Eddie Guerrero passing. You know, you'd have thought it was one of my own, like a member of my own family when that happened. Like, yeah. But with that said, that is it for this week's show, folks. So please, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back watch some of the episodes, and you can look for me on the Twitter at Tim Vicious. Also on that thread, John Tim Vicious as well. Trying to get a little more regular on there as much as I can. I'm trying, folks. Also, thank you to my executive producer, Ali Ray Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check it out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, all that good shit. Details are down below. Thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. They're a little bit of wrestling. A little bit of MMA and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, don't forget, LFC is on Tubi, so it's free. You got nothing to lose going on there. Don't forget to also check out WildManeuver.net for some vicious Shrance apparel. Help support the show. I got a teenage kid that just started going back to school, and he's got a birthday coming up in a few weeks, as well as Christmas in 3 months. So help a brother out if you can, please. Excuse me. Don't forget to follow these class cats on the Twitter as well. Kenny Killer DSB on the Stripe, you Diabolical RA, Sergeant Kurt, Hits and Dubs in your face. And folks, like the shirt says, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.